I recently checked one of my vermicompost bins and saw that most of the worms were at the top of their soil. They had eaten all of their food and were ready for something new. The object when cleaning out a vermicompost bin is to get the processed soil and castings into one container while saving the worms for their next round of work in their newly cleaned home. Trying to pick out the worms by hand is tiring and will give you a backache. I've tried that method. But just dumping the pile of composted material in the garden will eventually kill the worms because they'll run out of food. I've also tried making piles of compost on a tarp, but I find that the piles spread out and I just end up with a really big mess. So here's a quick and tidy way to clean out your vermicompost bin. To change the bin and harvest the castings, I first dumped the compost bin into another bin. Then I set the bin up again so I could feed half of the bin, let that sit, and then feed the second half of the bin. Next, moved any undecomposed bedding and leaf material back to the original bin. Cleaning out a vermicompost bin is a great chance to share the love and start a bin for a friend. Using a third container, set aside some of the material and worms. To collect the compost, you're going to gently scrape off a layer of soil and put it in another container. More on that container in just a minute. However, when you first pour in the soil and the worms will be at the top of your pile. They'll get scooped out with the compost. To avoid this hassle, take advantage of the worms' photophobia. They don't like the light. Given a little bit of time, they will move further down into the dirt on their own. Simply set a timer for 20 minutes and go do other chores, or just relax in your garden while the worms do their thing. When you come back, you'll find a pile of soil that doesn't have any worms at the top, and you can easily scrape off another inch or two depending upon how far down the worms have already gone. When you've scraped down far enough, you'll see more worms. Stop, set that timer for 20 minutes, and go back to looking like you're working really hard. While you're at it, take the time to be a little bit curious. Notice some of the ways that the decomposition has worked. Look at what the worms have eaten and what they've ignored. Apparently, they don't like stickers. Here's another curiosity that I found in my bin. Since denim is made of cotton, I tossed in some denim strips a few months ago. Now, this fragile piece of fabric is a nursery for the tiny, wiggling white worms. The adult worm has actually eaten a hole through the fabric. Pretty cool. Now, back to the container that you're going to put your composted material into. This box was not a very good choice. The box, which was made of cardboard, got left in the rain and it broke open when I tried to move it. A better choice would be some type of a breathable plastic container such as this mesh beach bag, because the compost can breathe, but it also makes it really easy to deliver the compost to the different plants that need it. This box is also a reminder that you won't rescue every worm when you change the bins. Adult and baby worms, as well as casings, will get exported. As long as the compost remains damp, the worms will have enough bacteria to eat for a few weeks. They'll actually start a new colony. I was amazed to see how many adult and baby worms were in this pile. After a few rounds of shaving off compost, the worms will be left in a shallow pile. Tip the bin at an angle to collect the compost and the worms to one side and let it rest again. Soon you'll be left with a little pile of dirt and a collection of worms to pour back into the original vermicompost bin. Now your original bin is clean and filled with worms that are ready to return to work. Toss in some food and some dry stuff. Cover up your pile to keep the moisture in and the gnats out. And your bin cleaning work is done. Nice work.